Welcome to this special edition of UI5ers Live, where we celebrate the 10 years journey of OpenUI5. So I'm here with Volker Buzek.
Hello.
And Peter Müsek.
Hi.
Broadcasting live from Volker's office in Heidelberg.
Exactly.
We turned everything around here. It's now not anymore. Nothing is on the same place anymore.
Yeah, and additionally, we are joined by DJ Adams.
Hello.
Christian Braukmüller. And Wouter Lemaire.
Hello.
Along with our usual suspects, Stefan Beck.
Hey.
And Andreas Kunz.
Hello.
Yeah. Not so easy to start somehow.
10 years.
10 years.
So I think we should start at the point where everything started. Huh?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same, that we should go a bit back in time. And when we consider the bigger picture of all of this, then actually we are celebrating today the open sourcing of SAP UI5, no? So that was more or less the birth of OpenUI5.
Yeah.
And as I was actually not involved in this, like at that time I was still not at that team, unfortunately somehow. I'm somehow curious how like this idea about open sourcing SAP UI5 came about. So and for sure I know about like the campaign that was started, I think, by the SAP Mentors group, who were really fighting for open sourcing this. But I'm just wondering, like the step before that, like how this started, that people started to discuss this topic. And I know at least that DJ was part of this group and was also like quite active there.
Some awesome guys which are pushing for that.
As I was wondering, DJ, can you maybe elaborate a bit on this, how you came together discussing this topic?
Yeah, I mean, there were some awesome guys and me as well. So I remember back, this goes back to sort of 2012-ish in my brain, you know. I remember, you know, and I'm sure Andreas will also remember this sort of era. But I mean, for me as a developer in the general community, I was working for a partner at the time. I wasn't working for SAP, and you've got to remember the context then, right? So all of us had been through this sort of, you know, long process of, you know, the XSP, the BSP, business server pages, active server pages, that sort of, you know, mixed sort of front end rendering and logic and everything. We'd been through that. We've had the sort of the web DimPro era, which was like this really heavy thing pressing down on our brain, and also all this stuff was like, you know, inside out development, right? You build it all inside and then just sort of render to the glass. So in that context, you know, when UI5 first hit the public, hit us, it was like this amazing breath of fresh air, suddenly outside in development. It's like, what the heck? Oh my goodness. So the context of how this landed was super important. And it was this beautiful thing that sort of hit the ground, you know, fully formed and beautiful outside in development. And it came from a team that was visible, you know, folks like Andreas and Peter and lots of other superheroes, right? They're not, you know, maybe, I don't know. So we all thought and felt, you know, externally, that we were all one. You know, it wasn't the traditional sort of enterprise model of, you know, there's somebody in an ivory tower building this complex software and throwing it out the tower window at us and it hits us on the head and it's really heavy. This felt as though it was ours right from the get-go, because it was exactly in the right place at the right time. All these framework, these web UI HTML-based frameworks were, you know, just coming to the fore, and it was an absolute beautiful catalyst that energized us all. Right, all the team, we felt as though, you know, we knew them. They felt like they were just one of us, and we wanted to sort of co-own, co-nurture this whole thing together. That was the context.
I remember also, DJ, right, that we always had also contacts. I remember you were in this Bluefin team, and I remember also your colleague Sean and these guys, and we had regular also exchange on one of the other topics and discuss things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, plus don't forget, this was also the era where OData was growing in popularity, and all of a sudden you have this perfect storm of technology that you can build really cool stuff in an amazing way. And so I think that was the platform upon which we all thought externally, hold on a minute, in order to nurture this, we need to sort of co-own it and bring it up as our own child collectively. What a crazy metaphor, I don't know. But that was how this whole thing came about, right?
Yeah, we are still also from our perspective really, really happy to find you basically as our counterparts to support us, because and I also recall the really early days of UI5 and all people sitting together and also thinking, hey, we would like to do something different at SAP, and people like Andreas and Peter from the very beginning also had the dream to do something like open source, but we then also sitting at SAP, what is a kind of a dinosaur in that space in a way, or has been, have to say, obviously, formally correct. And yes, we also realized it will be extremely hard and to fight it through internally against all this people who think we cannot do it. And yes, there were open source projects before UI5, but that has been really, really small tools, but nothing that is in the mainstream of SAP development itself. And therefore, we really realized, okay, it resonates with you all and we get support. And then we said, okay, let's now start from really two angles. And then our management heard it internally and externally. And that was an extremely nice fit. And then things started to move. And I think without you and your support.
So would you really say that was so important to have this campaign outside to convince our management for it?
I think without it, it wouldn't have worked. I think this was really an essential game changer, that there was some pull from outside, which helped us at the end that this will happen. Yeah. I don't know how far it came, like suddenly over the night. I remember that Stefan came around and said, now we have to open source. We have 2 weeks.
No, it was really, we were discussing, I think it was really years. I'm not kidding. We are internally discussing years. And then suddenly, within 2 weeks, it has to happen. So it was incredible, because then somehow there was...
Yeah, there was somehow a promise somewhere. I don't know where it happened. Yeah, but...
Tech, it was approaching, basically. And then they said, okay, now if we do it, let's do it now for tech. And then it was suddenly urgent, really urgent. Yeah.
It would also be interesting to look up the exact date, because 2013 was both OpenUI5 and, who knows it? React.
I read it on Twitter.
React was announced or was open sourced or was available for the first time.
I don't know whether they were open source there, because I think
React was at the beginning was like
a special license.
Special license, because that was the reason we were not allowed to use it, because it was not under MIT.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I remember also that time when we had this 10, what was it, the 10 commandments for open sourcing?
The 10 reasons for open sourcing UI5 or something. Yeah.
Do we still have the picture somewhere?
Yeah, we got some. There's a picture on the slides. Yeah,
Margaret is about to share for everyone. So
it was actually even 13 reasons, no?
13.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I remember there was this little web service you could generate London Underground signs, and you just typed in the text and it sort of rendered it. So I did that, and I think took that and did this great blog post, which sort of catalyzed again all these different actors in the mentor and community in general. It was great.
Yeah, you were also very.
Who the hell is that?
This is, I don't know, that is really the picture that came always when you're looking for how open source started, and so this always comes up somehow.
This was, I think I was being interviewed by Ian Thane in Code Talk, and I thought, you know what, I can put a message surreptitiously at the back so it's in the Code Talk the whole time. And
and I think also here you see what the SAP mentors have a kind of a voice also when they say something. Also what you also now SAP mentor Volker and Wouter. This is really something which we have to keep in mind. So you are also voices from the outside to the inside, and you are recognized.
Yeah, I also like that one. Unfortunately, I never saw someone wearing this T-shirt, but I really like that one.
Yeah, maybe we
Still
can
missing in my
in Spreadshirt create a new one of that.
that was great.
And I think, just as I remember, I think that was where the main names in Jan's blog post, honoring and being behind this campaign. So quite a people. And also, if you look at this blog post, I think there are more than 50 comments on it. So there was really a huge voice behind all the campaigns. So I think that's really great. So thanks to all of you, and thanks to those who still staying with.
And also for those who are not on that picture, there are many more people involved or were involved.
Definitely.
And sorry and apologize if we have forgotten you to put you in there. But after 2013 being announced as open source, the story started, and somehow we also became visible on conferences. And I think one of the first conferences where we have been shown up, or where we showed up, this was the OSCon, right? I think Andreas and DJ, that was yours. And
yeah, right. It was OSCon 2014 in
Yeah, so that was in Portland, Oregon, wasn't it? Yeah, so that, I mean, OSCon, I used to go to OSCon all the time, and it was, for me, OSCon was, one of the conferences to go to. So for us to be able to, go and talk to people about UI5 at OSCon, one of the greatest conferences of all time, was, incredible in and of itself. I mean, we had a booth. Well, you can see we had quite a big booth there, and we did get this workshop as well, didn't we, Andreas?
Yeah, we did. And this workshop, I would say, I think people were not so keen on spending 2 hours or so of their precious conference time with something they had never heard of before. So this is why I counted them. I have some pictures. Only 15 people turned up. And at that time where this photo was taken, there were probably like 5 and still coming in slowly. And this is exactly why we look like we look here in this picture. Like, okay, well, not so many. But the interest later on was bigger. So when we also had a presentation, I had a presentation together with Frederick. And this was full, and we even had to repeat it because it was so popular. And there people were really positive about UI5. And as I said, it was full, people were interested. Even the same week in Portland, Oregon, there was a craft beer festival, the Oregon Beer Fest or so. And even at this festival, people approached me and said, haven't you been talking from SAP about this open source stuff? It was great and so on. So I was on a craft beer festival, and strangers were talking to me about about UI5. So that was pretty cool and pretty positive.
Also seeing the pictures, Andreas, you didn't age a day.
Thanks for not including me in that observation.
Except for the beard, DJ, it's clearly that it was yesterday.
But the good thing is that you all still fit in your t-shirts. So
yes. Just to explain, in the top right there of the pictures, that's Pac-Man written in UI5, and so we had that running on one of the PCs at the stand there. It was great. Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, that was always a nice showcase. We used it very often.
But we couldn't publish it like as a public web app because of the license stuff and so on. But on conferences like this, we showed it often.
Yeah.
There was a second small piece, the adding theme, right? You shouldn't have also put a picture in here, right?
Oh, that was years before OpenUI5.
Really? Okay.
That happened when Andreas played around with the theming concept.
In the very first years, around 2010.
Yeah, but okay, I thought it was still alive. Okay, but okay, could be.
Alive, maybe.
It's today even alive if you look properly in the old places. So maybe we should put a retrofit live, Andreas.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, let's see. Attending conferences somehow is a nice transition to even own conferences. And you might think what we are now talking about, but maybe to introduce the birth, so to speak, also of UI5 and UI5Con. Maybe Christian, you want to give us some insights. How did the thing start of coming from attending conferencing to really hosting conferences?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it needs historians now to go back in time and think how it started. But from what I remembered, it was the TechEd 2015, where basically I think Gregor Wolf, maybe DJ, came to us as the SAP Inside Track Frankfurt team. I think we did it just once the year before, or in 2015 in the early days, in spring, and it worked well. I think that was a format that was already successfully mainly in the Netherlands and some other places, and we tried to pay it forward, like it was said at that time. And so we did the SAP Inside Track, and somehow the idea came up to do something similar, like a spin-off, and to do it probably the day before in 2016. And then we were, I think, first time meeting in the mentor room at the TechEd. I'm not quite sure, but I think Stefan was there, Peter maybe, Andreas, and we had a first contact with the, not Andreas?
I think maybe Andreas more than I, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was basically coming together with Tobias Trapp and Hendrik Neumann, who were in the organizers of the Inside Track in Frankfurt with me. And we said, yeah, that's a great idea. Make it similar, combine the efforts, have it a day before on a Friday, and try to make everything we can do to make it successful. And with the help from the whole UI5 team, that was really, really good. Yeah, that's how we started.
Just wanted to say, because I would say UI5Con would have never ever happened if we wouldn't have had the OpenUI5 Slack. Because
exactly, I said there was one piece that helped us to bring it up.
I can just remember that that I joined like the Slack channel and was really impressed about the discussions there inside. And then I talked once to Denise Lebraunig, maybe some of you still know her, and said like, I think it would be so nice like to connect our developers with this community because there's so great spirit in it. And she said, yeah, sure. There is like this channel within Slack that's called UI5Con. They are discussing exactly this. And there I realized that the same thought is also there in the community, and that's why I had like the confidence to go like to Gregor and also to detail and to discuss this, like how we could really make this happen. But without this, I think I would always thought that I'm the only one thinking of this. So, and I would never ever had started this discussion there.
Yeah, but the Slack channel is overall also a great success. If you see how many people are exchanging there, that's amazing. And it's us all here also from the community, which keep this community active and also having that in the Slack channel. And I think that's a great place also to approach each other. And that's really nice. And I think one of the guys who started that, who was it? Sean
Campbell. Sean as a service.
Sean,
yeah, he was our service.
Yeah, exactly. There he is. So yeah, so Sean and I worked together at Bluefin at the time, and again at the time in those days, UI5 was a core part of nearly all our proposals to customers and our solutions to customers, and so we all loved it. You know, it was a quite a small but beautifully formed sort of development team. And Sean, the maverick that he is, look at him there. He says, right, I'm gonna run with this and just create this thing. And so yeah, it was Sean that set up the Slack channel. And I think like you say, it was a super important thing to do because it brought everybody together.
Yeah, I think it was one of the biggest things for the UI5 community.
And we talked about before, what was the expectation from that event? How many people would join an event that is focusing on one specific topic? When you see it in the whole ecosystem, it's just a part of it. And the interesting thing was, I looked it up because I wasn't sure about that, but the registration, I think we had 80 seats or room for 80 people, and that was running very well, and it was sold out within minutes.
Also there, I can remember that Tobias Trapp said to me, like, don't be disappointed. Like, it will be a success if we have at least 20 people with us. And that was like sold out everything.
Maybe he has talked to Peter up front, so there are some rumors that Peter was a bit.
I was completely shy at that time. You know? when you all came with UI5Con 26, and I said, no, I can't speak there. I'm too shy, and I will skip that. And unfortunately, honestly, I have to admit that I'm really sorry about that. So I'm today I would do it different. This was really a chance I missed to be part of that initial story.
Yeah, I mean, quite a lot of people from the community I met at this very first UI5Con. I mean, I have seen those names also here now in the chat, and I'm super happy that they are with us today, like Helmut Tammen, then Kimo was there, then Harvey Zeiss was someone I really enjoyed meeting at that time already.
Navi was there.
Navi definitely was one of those.
Navi quote, "Follow me to Mana," and
yeah, but also you, Wouter, you were also at that time.
It feels like we're back in Frankfurt, but then 10 years older.
Yeah, it's some kind of reunion. You had also a speech there, so I met also you the first time there.
I was together with Jeremy. He did something with ABAP and UI5, and he did the ABAP stuff.
I somehow feel a bit like I missed really something.
You missed the historical.
Yeah,
see, the moment. The moment. Had, like our T-shirts on. It was also nice to see. Yeah.
And you have to add, I mean, this was the very first time, or the very first UI5Con, as in a real conference. But what still remains up to the very latest one that we had this year is this really cooperative spirit amongst people attending, the friendship and the friendliness, the atmosphere there. There's very little elbows, but a lot of heart put into everything. And I mean, not the least thanks to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I learned from the best, not from Christian and the SIT Frankfurt team.
Yeah, but what still amazes me is that we still, with the atmosphere remained the same from the 80 people back there in Frankfurt 2016 to the 400 now in St. Leon-Roth. Everything is still very friendly, very open, very enjoyable. So
it's really like meeting friends. Also, I can just say that. Also, when I'm up on stage there, it's really like talking to friends. Then it feels so nice. The atmosphere is awesome, and that's thanks to us all who make that.
Yeah, but as I said, like with the start, I think that was really the best start I could have had with this organizational team from Frankfurt. Also, when you see all the details there, I also realized how important it is to have some colored spots there, and it's not only just a conference, but you need to put some heart into it, that it really works, and that's what I really learned from this Insight track.
I think also when you see the UI5Con every year, it somehow gets a little bit more.
Yeah, but also there,
professional, I would not say, but the details, there are more details every year.
Yeah, but I think like also there, you shouldn't oversize this, because I think like
it's not about the size.
Because but I really think it's nice. For example, Wouter, you also made one UI5Con now in Belgium, and that was really great to see also that it does not have to be us, but this can be done by anyone who is really like inspired to do something like this and wants to meet or provide a platform for people around.
Yeah. So also that we had the format, we had it also in India. Then after some time, that was also nice that the teams there from SAP also organized the UI5Con there. The first time, I think it was only Frederick from our side there, or Stefan, have you been also there at the first time?
No, I have been there with you the first time. So
it was the second time when we worked together there. Yeah. It was also amazing crowd there. And it's the same spirit there and like everywhere. Yeah, it's really, really unbelievable how many people are really interested in that stuff. And it shows really also that the work we are doing here, this is really, really great.
What I like to add, that is the general good thing. When is a conference like this successful? I think when the product is kind of open, when the team behind is open, when the community takes it open and gives it with openness, and I think then it's nearly done. I think then nothing can happen. Conferencing is I think a difficult topic, because as soon as sometimes it's related to costs. You have to organize it, and it's not so cheap. And but if you find sponsors who understand what the spirit is and what should be done there to force the communication and then give a platform where you can communicate with, no matter if you're a consultant, if you're from SAP, if you're from the customer side. And I think that was perfect from the beginning, and it scaled very well to the UI5 Con nowadays in Leon, St. Leon Road. And I'm very happy about that nothing was lost on the way. It's still in this path. Yeah.
And now it becomes a yearly tradition to meet at Audimax.
And we have also to admit, also played with all the tricks up to beer. So is there a picture of our hard activity?
I think, Margot, we have still this one picture. Yeah, this Yippee API, or how was it pronounced, Andreas?
IPA,
Yeah.
Yippee API.
Our first open source beer.
You know.
There was also Pull to Refresh.
Pull to Refresh, yeah.
That was
Refresh IPA.
the first one,
Brewed
yeah.
by Andreas and friends, I remember. In fact, in the slides, in our collective slides, I put a screenshot of the thing there.
Yeah, I can share it.
Whether you've got it or not, but yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, how strange, beer and UI5 together. It's like an odd combination. I don't know how that came about.
But I'm glad that it came about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think one of the drivers for that is Andreas.
It's Andreas' fault generally, I think.
Well, when we are talking about UI5Con, then Margot is the first name we should mention, I think.
No, for the beer, I mean. For the beer.
We talked a lot about UI5Con now. Unless you have something more to say, or maybe some pictures to share, we could also talk a bit about the community, how it prospered, and not only the community as a group of people that we are having here now, but also the UI5 community as a GitHub organization, which also exists for quite a while and hosts a lot of important projects, VDI5, the Transpile plugin, and all kinds of things, of tools are now hosted there in this UI5 community. Now, as we have so many community members here in the call, who exactly created it and why, and how did it start? So who has the story for that?
Yeah, that was he asked me about a proxy.
Way back when.
Yeah, I think 2019 or UI5Con. You came, or you even shouted around, we need a proxy, yeah? And Peter, let's do a proxy. And I said, yeah, well, let's do it together. And then I came here to that place, yeah, to Volker, and we had some hackathon session, and we kickstarted this ecosystem showcase project, which was a little bit also the birth of the idea to make a kind of an ecosystem available for the UI5 tooling, because it was quite new. Not so many people used it so far. I think it worked out quite good, but a lot of things around were missing. And at the end, it was also a bit to show how you as a community can empower yourself to build these parts which are not part of that, what we are providing from the UI5 organization. And I think with that, you came also up with the CF destination, Cloud Foundry destination thing, which is in the meantime renamed. And many other stuff we started.
Yeah, we did the live reload on the first hackathon. Yeah. So there were many tooling modules born, I'd say, with the idea of having a central place where to put them. And talking about a central place, that was also important, that we created the GitHub community, then the UI5 community, to put everything in one place. So it would be easy to find. Because before there were many amazing things scattered all over the place. We had the idea, why not centralize it into a single point of destination, into the mother's womb of UI5 tooling. And that's why we created the UI5 community.
Yeah, also because of, I think we had discussed also other approach, how to do that. And from, let's say, the rights perspective, the access rights perspective, having a UI5 community organization allowed us to see it a bit more open in a way that we can also make community members, admins or maintainers of open source projects there, which is a bit hard if it comes to, let's say, SAP organization. When we have projects there, then it's not so easy possibly to also empower people from the community to do so. And with the UI5 community GitHub organization, we now, I think, have really many also community members who have admin rights, maintaining projects there, and can also create new projects there to host their stuff in there. And I think also That's what is quite often used. We have it with VDI5.
Yeah, the combination was also good because I remember when we talked about VDI5 being the successor of UI5, we then were able to have both a sponsored development effort at the same time in the open, in the UI5 community where everybody could watch what's going on. And then also had the sponsored development being transferred into the UI5 community as a result, so it was available to everyone. And I think that just proves that an open source community can work very well with a closed company such as UI5 achieving the ideal result.
What is also quite nice, I personally think, is that people are also approaching you because of having issues there. And you ask them sometimes, yeah, well, can you do that? And can you help to fix that? Then they come up with the solution. And this was also the point when I got in contact with so many people from you who have been invited also in the past to join UI5ers live session to present that what they have done for the ecosystem or for the UI5 community GitHub organization. And I think that's also a quite nice channel to get really tighter in touch with the community and with you from outside, from my perspective. Yeah, so I think also Wouter did a lot of projects in there. So one of the things I remember also, Wouter, you made was this the extensions for the easy UI5 generator. That was also one thing we changed together with Marius that days, that we opened it up, that it can include different templates provided by the community, and with that, Wouter also started one of these projects, right?
Yeah, I missed some templates, so I started helping with the templates. But yeah, it's nice that it's that open to create your own template, the generators. Yeah.
And we started to work together.
Yeah.
Was it the very first time you worked together?
No. But it was a good chance again
to
do some work.
I started spamming you
Nah.
on a weekly basis.
It's okay. Yeah, if we achieve something which is useful for everyone, that's a great outcome of that, and that's what I like also doing.
Yeah, but maybe the question to you both, like as you are contributors from outside, like is it just pure fun for you to come up with new ideas for additional tools of things that could extend OpenUI5, or what is the motivation behind that?
Do you want? For me, it's I always like to push SAP, and in this case UI5. I try to find the missing gaps, and it makes it fun if I can go to Peter and say, Peter, you have a bug or you're missing something. That's the thing I like to do, and that makes it fun. But also just in general, yeah, it's just fun.
That's
so
true.
Also sharing your projects with the community and see that it is used, or
yeah, especially when there are gaps on documentation, or for example, some things are not always clear for everyone. I think it's just up to us, up to the community, to go answer questions in SAP community, but also share the knowledge on blog posts, even if there are no questions, or if there are. Sometimes I see on the SAP community the same question over and over again, and then it's just easier to share in a blog post or something, and helping the community and make it grow.
Yeah, and it's not only about answering questions, but also it gives us the outside perspective a bit better. So when you're writing about TypeScript, for example, you had a whole series about TypeScript, about your experience with TypeScript. But that also helped us understand where are the hurdles, where are the problems, and so on. So that's not only teaching the community, but it's also teaching us what could be better and what could we do next.
And also not only with TypeScript, also with the web components and the rework of the control rendering stuff. So when you showed that also at the UI5Con, you created blog post series. I think that's really creating value for everyone. And that's also why it's so worth to invest in that as well. Also from my perspective then, to work with you, because it's multiplying at the end, and then this pays really off. So the whole thing we do in the community is paying off, and this makes it also so interesting to work with you.
And you have to add that it's paying off for everybody involved. So it's not only for us as the community that we benefit from some internal SAP developments, it's also the other way around. in my opinion, SAP could never innovate that fast without the feedback of the community in the UI5 case.
Yeah.
That would have never been possible.
I can give you a concrete example on top of that one. I think it's currently this hype topic, but also AI, ChatGPT. This never would behave that nicely for UI5 without you and the community and all the material that is available that can be fed to it. So that's really a good transition even into the next, let's say, big technology hype, so to speak.
And very often also there came up really nice ideas when someone approached us and then mentioned, oh, maybe this would be nice to have something like this. And then we said, okay, let's sit together and shape it quickly and test whether it works. And then we put something like in the ecosystem. I did that very often also with many people, that we at the end came out with something new, something which improves again the development experience of the people. And this is also what is key, that we can also use that the demand to innovate further with that what we are developing. And your input is really also worth to have, and it's also heard by us.
It's probably, just to jump in, I think this lessons learned, I think, is a message for all the other areas where adaptation and transformation should get on a higher speed. And I think opening up is always a good choice to get that going. I think there are a lot of hurdles and some areas where it's not so easy to do, but I think this is a good example, and there are some other good examples where openness was a key to success.
Yeah, this is also probably a good transition on what do you as the listeners expect for the future from UI5 and the UI5 community. And because I'm just talking, I'm going first. So what I would really wish for is that we achieve an even more streamlined development process of certain UI5 tooling extensions. For example, the proxy. There's many proxies flying around. Why can't we just have one? Then there's live reload middlewares flying around. Why can't we just have one? So that we streamline even more and do a co-development in a way, in the trusted way that, for example, the UI5 core team and the community does, but also reach out to the Fiori Elements people, to even the Fiori tools people who have been very open recently already. But if we achieve a greater openness, even with the adjacent areas of UI5, let's put it that way, then I think the result for everybody involved will even be bigger.
Yeah. What do you think, Peter? What would you wish for the next decade?
What would I wish? To continue with all that work and to collaborate more with you guys, to innovate the stuff. So we have still from that what we are doing in OpenUI5 or SAP UI5 to innovate the framework. There is still a lot of work to do, and I want to bring it to the next level. And that's what I'm working on daily. And I need your input. I need the team's input inside SAP. And then we hope we really reach a next level of the UI5 framework, even bring it close to web standards. That's my wish.
And I think... DJ, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. All I was going to say was, because Peter prompted me to think, because when you said, in 10 years' time, I think one of the things that I would say is just continue doing what we as a community are doing, because I don't think it's difficult to remember to realize that this community is the reference implementation for future SAP open source communities, right? So, I think we have had open source activities for a very long time. Remember the Linux kernel modifications back in the day. But this one, I don't think we all realize that we are the UR community when it comes to open source and SAP. And maybe in 10 or 20 years' time, we'll look back and think, wow, yeah, that was the first one. And look at all the ones that have happened in their shadow since, or in their reflection since. I could name some, but now I work for SAP, I better not. But I think you all know what I'm thinking, right? But anyway, yeah. So just continue what we're doing, because we are a great example. You are a great example.
We are. What's your thought, Wouter?
Well, my thought, I have a very large wish list with all. But mainly I will keep it short. I think we need to keep doing what we're doing in the first place. And okay, you guys did a great thing the last couple of 10 years. But we need to push, and we need to push ourselves and the UI5 community to evolve and to do, not to per se better, but keep going, keep improving the framework, and keep doing what we're doing. Instead of laying back and relax, because I would like to see UI5, OpenUI5, SAP UI5 still there in the next 10 years. So it's important that we keep going.
Yeah, that's good. Andreas?
Yeah, I would have jumped in anyway. So I'm totally with Wouter and Peter here, that I think we need to keep doing what we are doing, but not in a sense like, okay, let's just continue, but in the sense that we need to keep evolving and renewing. I think that's important. But anyway, also I think it's important to stay on am Ball bleiben in German, so to really innovate and continue with things like we are doing now with UI5 version 2.x, what we have done with TypeScript, what we for sure will do with further innovations. I think we need to like innovate and evolve to remain relevant. That's really important, and that's what I'm like striving for and hoping for.
Christian, we didn't ask, huh? He wrote something, but
Yeah, Christian, you have also some thoughts on this?
I think you covered everything from this side, and I think if it goes that way, like that innovation is done, then we are the community. We are the ones who like to spread it out by participation, having the events, spreading the news, comment that, giving feedback. I think that is always important. It's not a one-way street. It's always see how the community reacts, how other experts think about that, and as long as this is a back and forth thing, you can play the ball forward, and then you can bleiben am Ball. that will work well. Yeah.
Let's not forget to still remain open to new community members. So even if you're starting out with UI5 right now, it's not required that you're the expert to comment on things in the UI5 community, or that you're the expert that you're allowed to ask questions at UI5Con. The contrary is true.
And you know, I had this nice moment. I think, Andreas, you were with me when we had this experts corner, and two young colleagues from the community came to ask some questions, and they were so excited to talk to us. And I think, but it's like that. It's just ask questions if you have them. Yeah, it's okay. That's what we are there for. Especially if there is some event like that, don't be shy and come to us and start a discussion. I think it's worth to hear everyone. Everyone has good ideas, independent from how long he's in software development. And that's something we should also keep in mind.
Yeah, there's a little punchline that says, humanize a little bit every day. And I think that's also worth doing in the UI5 community.
Yeah, I think also Helmut has a very nice wish. He said like also that it would be nice like to see products outside of SAP using OpenUI5, so it becomes more popular. And that's
things are happening sometimes. Yeah. We had this CERN project together where they approached us. So this was also a quite nice thing. Yeah, and then also there, people from outside SAP are choosing OpenUI5 because of the value it brings. And that's really nice. I think Stefan has not brought his wishes, huh?
Yeah, for me it's nice, and we always, between Peter and myself, have the same battle. There was many voices talking about innovation, and this definitely has to happen. But also really thanks to you, Wouter. You mentioned that your wish list is long. I also wish that the wish list never dries out, because that's also our mandate to be interesting, and that's also my call to all of you. If there's something that you need to go into community, also come up with improvements that we also can advance functional wise, and also obviously not against speaking innovations. That's the heart of it, but it's a combination of both.
What's your wish list, Margot?
That's the reason why I was actually asking this question, so I don't have to answer it. But I think most of things have been said. No, I mean, my wish list for sure is that there will be the next 10 years, that we will still exist in 10 years, and that we continue with this great work what we are doing, and the community is growing. So this for sure. And somehow, as it is like the short-term wish for me is that version 2 of OpenUI5 will become a success and people will jump on this, because I personally believe that you can only innovate if you can also cut some tails.
I think in 2019 I mentioned it at the keynote, what the missing feature of the evolution project is the death. And I think this is something we need to have for the 2.0.
Yeah, so I really hope that everybody agrees with this and goes this path with us, so that we can continue to innovate. Yeah.
And honestly, it's a bit the same then for open sourcing it. So we have to convince internally more than externally, and the louder you ask for it, it's the better for us.
Close the circle somehow. So I think that was more or less like our
Where's the
special
champagne?
edition. So, thanks a lot for celebrating with us and to go on this journey about the last 10 years. It was really nice to talk about this time. And yeah,
I think we have also a little present for the speakers or our guests. So there is a t-shirt we designed especially for the 10 years of OpenUI5.
Nice.
So this is the thing what you get for joining us. And Volker, as you are in the room, you get one now. The rest, you get it then later.
But I'm representing
for all
Christian
those
here, Wouter here,
yeah,
and DJ here, of course.
For all those who are interested, so we will also share a link to the spreadshirt design for that shirt. I hope you can share that everyone can see that. Yeah. So we will share also the link. Maybe we tweet it also, and hope that it works, that you can all order that if you want. Thanks to all of you. Without you, this would not have happened today. To the guests here, to the developers in UI5 teams, and also to you in the community. I think we all together, you look great. We all together made somehow really a nice thing which differs from the other stuff, what others did here in the communities.
So then,
happy birthday, OpenUI5.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
And happy holidays to everyone. And
Yeah.
I hope we see all of you next year then.
Yeah.
So have a good time, relax a bit,
Enjoy with the families.
think about
friends.
new projects.
Yeah. If you have ideas, community is open. Come up.
Exactly.
And
And we see you.
yeah, cool. Time to
Great. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.